Hey everyone, today we're going to help you ask for a signing bonus. I'm Steve from Exponent, and I'm here today with Craig, who's a negotiation expert. Craig, would you mind sharing a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, I have been in the tech industry now for a couple of decades. I started off as a PM at Microsoft and did that also at a couple startups. I had a couple of my own startups, and now I've been doing tech executive compensation coaching and consulting for the last over 10 years now.
Awesome. Well, we're super excited to have you here. So, a lot of questions we get sometimes in terms of negotiation is around how do I ask for a signing bonus? When do I bring that into the conversation? And today we're going to help you figure out how to do that. And so, we're going to do a little bit of a role play. So, Craig will pretend to be a candidate, I'll pretend to be a recruiter. And in this role play, the scenario will be one where, let's say, Craig has already gotten the offer. He has been successfully able to negotiate the offer up. So it was originally 130. Now it's 145. He was asking for 160. So he's negotiated up, but we're hitting a wall. We're not able to get higher. And so what Craig is going to do is try to show you how to actually ask for a signing bonus and get a signing bonus. All right, without further ado, we'll get into the role play. You ready, Craig?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Cool. Okay, well, hey, Craig. Yeah, excited to be on the call with you. I know you're hoping to chat a little bit more about salary, but as I mentioned, we really can't go higher. 145 is kind of our limit here. Yeah.
Got it. Well, first of all, I sincerely appreciate you working to try to make this fit. I know, you have probably a lot of other people you have to involve in order to make this work, and I appreciate all the work you put into it.
Thanks. Yeah. We're really excited to have you. And we really want to make it work, but we have limits on our side, constraints. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that you have constraints. For me, I'm kind of stuck in that I would love to make this work. At this point in my career, I just need to make sure I feel like I'm making the right financial decision. And yeah, so we are still a fair amount apart. Have you ever done a signing bonus in cases like this?
Um, it's really uncommon, and we usually do that for like senior folks. So it's not really a common thing that we do here at the company.
Okay, so it sounds like you have done it, but it just doesn't happen very often. Would it be something that you consider?
Um, it's really uncommon. It's something that we have done occasionally, but I wouldn't be able to. I'm not sure I could really make
Yeah,
that
I
happen.
understand.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously, I'm not asking you to make a decision on the phone right now for sure. I'll tell you what. You've given me a lot of good stuff to think about, and it's possible. I might want to chat with the hiring manager one more time, but I would love if we could just like reconvene. Maybe the day after. Let me just check my calendar. Hold on. Yeah, like maybe the day after tomorrow. And then if you are able to see what's possible on your side, we can just chat about it then and see where we're at, and then I'll have some time to think about things on my side as well.
Okay. Yeah. I'm happy to chat about it. And happy to put that on the calendar. And yeah, like not sure what we can really do there, but yeah, I'd love to have you talk to the hiring manager more and make sure you're comfortable also with this role.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I appreciate. Yeah, just if you can just find out where you can be flexible and see what they say. That's all I ask, and then we'll figure out time, and then you and I can have book some time over email, and then see if we can talk on Friday.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I can ask. I can definitely ask. So I'll do that.
Great.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks so much,
All right.
Stephen.
Thanks so much, Craig. Yeah. Okay. Role play off. That was short, sweet, and simple, but really effective. So just from my vantage point, really quickly, I thought you did a really great job of um, making your ask appropriate. Like you didn't ask me to actually give you a signing bonus on the call, and I'm
Mhm.
sure you'll talk about that in just a moment. I also just felt like you, again, like we've done a couple of these role plays, but your tone was really kind of collaborative. Like, and I think that was really nice for me as a recruiter, where it felt like, okay, we're on the same page. You're not like trying to squeeze every dime out of me. You're more just like, hey, like this is not really my expectations. I'd love to see if this is a possibility that we could explore. But I'll let you share a little bit more about your strategy and what you were thinking throughout that call.
Yeah. I will say in these role plays where we have kind of fake personas and it's a fake situation, it's hard to really come across with actual empathy because obviously we're playing a role here. But I will say that, empathizing with your position was a primary thing I was thinking about. Like, you have limits, and like, if I just kind of push up against them, it not only feels like I'm pushing up against the limit, it also feels like I'm pushing up against you. And so I really
Mm.
want to say, like, hey, I appreciate, like, I know that you have limits. I know that there are other people involved. And I start out by appreciating you for the process, which is like, thank you so much for working hard to make something workable. And then I said, look, like, I haven't really changed what my mind was. I had a number in mind, which, like, presumably I'd given to you, and we were still far apart. And so I asked, would you, as a conditional, have you ever in previous cases, you know, given a signing bonus? And then you have basically a choice. Either you will have to lie or tell me about, like, the one time that it happened, even if it's not in this case.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. That question kind of got me, right? Because it was like, okay, like, well, what am I supposed to say?
Exactly.
Definitely, most companies have given signing bonuses at some point,
Yeah.
and so to ask that, it's like, well, and I mean, the way I phrased it was quite negative, but you still picked up that like that had
It's
happened
happened before.
before. Yeah, yeah. And so then you're like, oh, okay, that's a possibility. And I thought, by the way, just to go quickly, really back to the point you made about tone, I really liked, and one thing that I think people do on negotiation calls is they get nervous and just keep talking. What I
Mm,
liked is that you actually said in the very beginning, you're like, hey, thank you, like for this. You kind of actually paused after you said
mm,
that empathetic, like, oh, moment. And then it allowed me to share, hey, we're really excited about you,
mhm,
but we also have constraints. And it felt like you were actually listening to me, as
mhm.
opposed to, I think on negotiation calls, people are like, okay, but like I need more, or
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's very tempting, especially if you're prepping and you're like, oh, I'm going to say this, I'm going to say this, to just come in and machine gun out everything you're going to say. And that's not a conversation. That's a diatribe. So,
yeah.
um, the other part there is I wanted to leave the conversation giving you the open question, right? As
Mm,
opposed to, I'm leaving the conversation. I'll talk to you later and I'll think about what your offer was. What I wanted to leave with was, hey, like, I just want to be clear. I'm not asking you to say yes to this. I'm just asking that you make the ask. That's all I can ask of a
mhm.
recruiter, of somebody talking about, even if it's a hiring manager, they probably have to go okay it. So give them the out. Like, you want to give somebody the space to save face, essentially. Like, they said, oh, we can't do it. Let them go away and figure out what the questions are. Don't ask them, directly, hey, can I have this signing bonus? Because then they have to
Mm,
kind of repeal and say, oh, I can't make the decision on the phone, that sort of thing. So I was very careful
totally.
to not ask directly. I just wanted to ask to make you ask. That's it. That's it.
Yeah. And by the end of the call, I was like, well, I can definitely ask. Like,
Right.
that's not a hard thing for me to do. Like, you're
Yeah.
not asking for so much. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll go make an ask. And worst case, or, maybe even majority case, I might just say no or something, but
Yeah.
you
And then I
still
made the
did a
ask.
good job of asking. Yeah. Yeah.
It's still,
Yeah.
if you say no to the signing bonus, I still did a great job negotiating because I got to the no, right? And
Yeah.
that's really
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. One other quick thing that I'll just say, the last thing that I'll say, and then see if you have any kind of last comments is I think what you did also was a nice job of not making it clear if you're going to go one way or the other on the offer. Like you sounded
Mm.
excited, but you
Yeah.
also were like, okay, but we're far apart here. And so, because I think if you go one way or the other, it's like I could kind of tell like, oh, Craig's going to take it anyway, so I don't really need to.
Right.
Because some people are like, well, it would be great if you get a signing bonus, but I'd take it anyway. Like that doesn't really get
Yeah.
the signing bonus.
Right.
But on the other hand, also you didn't seem too uninterested in the offer too. So it felt like you came in at the right like tone
Totally.
for me to ask. Yeah.
I think about that as, in the movies how they'll have like an angel show up on one side and a devil show up on the other side. I think of not angel and devil, but in terms of two different sides of myself, right? The side of myself that is, like, my intention, my heart, my, feeling side is 100% with the company. I would love to make this happen. And hopefully
Mm,
that's actually true. It's not just about the finances, right? Like, you actually want to have this job. It's important to express that. And then the other side is the kind of cold, pragmatic, rational side of, like, hey, I actually need to make a good financial decision here. And I said that.
hmm
So
hmm
what I want you to feel is that actually, like, my heart is with you, but I have to actually appease this other part of myself as well. And that tension is kind of what you feel like, hey, he's actually kind of on the fence here, but not about the job, not about me, but more about, like, satisfying these two parts of himself.
For sure. Yeah. For folks watching, if you want to get more support from Craig with his coaching or content and learn more about him, there'll be links in the description below, so you can check that out. Craig, is there any last things that you'd like to share, advice, tips, or anything like that?
Just encourage you. If you should always prep before these calls, and there is an immense amount of value that's often left on the table simply by asking the right way. I really impress upon you.
Mm.
This is a crucial skill, so that you should really invest in it.
Yeah, I love the simplicity of just making the ask, and sometimes it'll pay off.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I'm Stephen from Exponent again, and it's been great having you. And if you have an upcoming negotiation, I'm wishing you the best of luck with making that ask to get a signing bonus or increasing the salary. I know it can be really stressful. All right. Thank you so much.